The sea was calm the night Elias spotted the ship, too calm. The waves barely breathed, and the moon hung low, a pale coin pressed against the velvet sky. He'd been sailing alone for days, the gentle rhythm of his boat a familiar comfort. But the silhouette drifting ahead, dark, still, and silent, made his skin prickle with an unease he couldn't shake. It was a phantom against the horizon. He slowed his small boat, cupping his hands around his mouth. "Ahoy there!" he called out, his voice swallowed by the vast, quiet ocean. No answer, no movement. Not even the creak of wood or the snap of a sail. Just silence. As he drew closer, the vessel revealed its age. It was an old ship, its hull deeply scarred by storms long past. A single, unlit lantern swung from the bow, a hollow eye watching his approach. A strange mix of curiosity and dread pulled him forward. He had to know. Securing his boat, Elias climbed aboard, his boots echoing with a startling loudness across the empty deck. The air felt colder here, as if the ship carried its own pocket of winter. He found no crew, no signs of life or struggle, just a chilling, profound absence. He moved through the ship, his heart thumping against his ribs. The cabins stood open, their beds neatly made, tables set as if waiting for a meal that never came. It was a snapshot of life, frozen in time. In the captain's quarters, a leather-bound logbook lay open on the desk. Elias leaned in, his own breath fogging slightly in the cold. The last entry was written in a shaky, desperate hand. "We hear them in the water." Elias swallowed hard, the words hanging in the air. The boards beneath him groaned, a long, mournful sound, though he hadn't moved an inch. He spun around, his eyes darting into the shadows. No one was there, he was alone. Or so he thought. He pushed deeper into the ship's belly, his own small lantern casting long, dancing shadows. The corridor seemed to stretch, bending in ways that defied logic, as if the ship were rearranging itself around him, trapping him in its wooden maze. Every so often he heard a faint drip, a steady, rhythmic sound. Drip. Drip, drip. But when he looked, the floors were bone dry. It was a sound with no source, a ghost of a leak. Finally, he reached the cargo hold. The door creaked open into a vast, dark space. His lantern flame flickered wildly, as though caught in a sudden draft, yet the air was unnervously still. He lifted it higher, trying to pierce the gloom. In the center of the room, a pool of water shimmered. It was perfectly contained, as if held in place by invisible walls, defying gravity, and in that dark, still water, a reflection. But it wasn't his. A pale face stared up at him from the depths, its eyes wide with a silent scream, its mouth open as if calling out from beneath the surface. Elias stumbled back, a cry catching in his throat. But the reflection didn't move with him. It remained fixed, its gaze locked on him. Then it began to rise. Slowly, unnaturally, the shape beneath the water pressed upward, the surface rippling as it tried to break through. The ship groaned again, louder this time, the sound vibrating through the deck, almost like a voice. A whisper followed, brushing past his ear like a cold breath. "Light the lantern." Elias spun around, his lantern held out like a weapon. No one. The whisper came again, this time from everywhere at once, a chorus of voices carried on the stale air. "Light the lantern, before they return." His eyes fell upon the old, unlit lantern he'd seen on the bow, which he'd instinctively picked up. His hands shook as he lifted it. The moment his fingers touched the cold metal, a flame sparked inside, an ethereal, wavering blue light that cast no heat. The water in the hold instantly stilled. The whispering stopped. For a fleeting moment, the ship felt alive again, its timbers sighing with relief. Then he heard it splashing, frantic splashing from outside the ship. He rushed back to the deck, the blue lantern clutched in his hand. The sight that met him turned his blood to ice. Shapes moved in the dark water surrounding the hull. Pale arms, dozens of them, were reaching, grasping, pulling at the wood. Faces surfaced, silent and watching, their eyes glowing faintly in the lantern's eerie blue light. They were the ones from the water. The ship began to drift backward, pulled by a current he couldn't see, drawn by the drowned crew. The lantern's blue flame dimmed, threatening to die. One of the faces rose higher, its features becoming clear just inches from the deck's edge. Its lips parted, and a voice, thick with seawater, whispered, "Stay with us." Elias didn't wait for a second invitation. He scrambled, he leapt, throwing himself back into his own small boat. He rowed with a wild, desperate strength he didn't know he possessed, not daring to look back. The abandoned ship faded into the mist, its strange blue lantern flickering like a dying star until it was consumed by the night. By dawn it was gone. The sea was calm again. But sometimes, on nights just like that one, sailors say that when the water is too still and the moon hangs low, you can see a blue light drifting across the waves. A lonely lantern, guiding the lost souls home, or maybe, just maybe, warning the living to turn back before the drowned whisper again. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe for more tales from the deep. Stay safe out there.